Now, of course, today is Flag Day. The flag is always behind us and has been for as long as we have been in the man cave. Why? Because it is the symbol of modern Australia. Modern Australia that has many faces, many histories, but of course only one future. And people, I have been saying for some time, need to fly the Australian flag. Find a way to show it. If you can, buy a flagpole, put it out the front of your house. If not, find one way to put one on your porch. Find a way to put it in the window at the shop. If you own a pub, restaurant, cafe, do the same thing. It is not any other symbol other than how good is this joint. And it is the one that unifies us. From the sporting field to the United Nations, it is the symbol of our nation. There have been politicians that have done incredible things with the flag to show their love of the flag. Most notably of recent years, the wonderful Di Lee, of course, a refugee in her youth and now a member of Parliament, re-elected, by the way, no fluke, re-elected in one of the most multicultural parts of Australia. She is very proud of that flag. As is, of course, Jacinta Nampijinpa Price. And you may well have just heard, if not, I am telling you now, that today her decision to wear the Australian flag while talking about the Australian flag in the Australian Parliament apparently was controversial. Now, other people are allowed to wear what they want to when they walk into the Parliament, most notably Lydia Thorpe, message stick and all. Oh, this is okay because it is cultural. It is culturally important. Of course, if you wear the Australian flag or drape yourself in anything of that culture, it's a problem. Here is Jacinta Nampijinpa Price making her comments about the Australian flag in the Australian Parliament today.
My elders from a tiny community near Tennant Creek have spoken about how the Southern Cross is part of dreaming, or Jukurupa. So, contrary to the views of activists, Indigenous Australians certainly are represented by our national flag. There's the Union Jack, a reminder of our British heritage and the Christian ethos that forged a modern nation. And there's the 7-pointed Commonwealth or Federation Star, 6 points for our 6 states and a 7th point for our territories, a reminder of our unity. Together, these symbols remind us of our nation's history and the contributions of generations of Australians.
Good on her. The detail of the symbol, that's what matters. The sign of symbols that represent history, present and future. Oh, and did you hear the bit about the values that have come as a result of the modernisation of this country over the past 250-odd years? Oh, the heads were exploding. She also continued to talk about her love of flag and why love of country, love of flag is not a bad thing. In fact, it is something to be embraced by all communities.
Our national flag signifies our common citizenship and fellowship that makes strangers acquaintances. Our national flag is for times of celebration and times of commemoration. And as historian Geoffrey Blaney said, our national flag links the living and the dead.
My oath. Well, 7 minutes into the speech, a Green looked like they were slightly out of breath because they had clearly been sent to run into the Parliament and deliver a message of outrage. Now, if Nick McKim was there the whole time, I apologise, but he looked like 7 minutes in that he was rushing to make a point that if he might have been there, he would have made a little bit earlier. He used the processes of the Senate to complain about the wearing of the Australian flag in the Australian Parliament.
Senator McKim on a point of order.
Yes, thank you, President. I asked for a ruling, please, on whether the senator who's wrapped in the national flag at the moment is contravening the standing order that prevents props. And I do want to make the point that if it's okay for Senator Nampijinpa Price to wrap herself in this flag, I would intend to wrap myself in a Palestinian flag.
All right, pal, here's the deal. They're not the same thing. It is not a prop when you are wearing what everyone in the chamber can see if they just look up. You see, anyone who as a school kid or as an adult has been to Parliament knows that that giant Australian flag, which can be seen from all points of Canberra, is visible from the two chambers of our Parliament. The Australian flag, I hate to break it to the Australian politician in the Australian Parliament, is different than the Palestinian or any other flag of any other nation. The idea that a national symbol would be referred to as a prop, but of course nothing is said when people wear something other than their suits to make important speeches in Parliament, including with, as has been recognised by the chair, the message stick. Now, again, I can't stand these people who hate the symbols of the country but want to sit in the Parliament that writes the laws that all of us must obey. The people who hate the modern country of which we live in, bemoan everyone else's problems but do very little about our own, who don't have the balls to get out of the way and let somebody else take the seat in the Parliament. Oh, no. The gravy train is always more important than the moral high horse that they like to step upon. Well, after a bit of back and forth, the senator had to remove the flag. Why? Because there's going to be an inquiry. The inquiry will take place amongst a series of senators to decide if the wearing of the Australian national flag in the Australian National Parliament is fit, proper and okay. Will they have the same conversation about the message stick and the animal skins? Well, of course not. That's cultural. Well, this symbol is the one that means just as much to so many millions of people around the country. And I don't want to see somebody wearing it in the Parliament all day, every day, but when the occasion fits, I have no problem with it. For her part, Senator Price was on Sky News this afternoon, speaking with Danica DiGiorgio, filling in for Chris Kenny a little bit earlier today about this nonsense.
This is the Greens for you. They care more about other countries than they do our own country. They're part of the reason why our country sees so much division right now. And you know what? I will stand up for Australia all the time. I love this country.
And we love you. Another politician who did exactly the same thing in the Parliament today is Senator Pauline Hanson. Now, remember, Senator Pauline Hanson has been re-elected to the federal parliament. She is part of our national life, and she too is standing up and blowing up at the mere suggestion that she too was being told, you must take the flag off because the Greens say so.
Of all days, it is our Australian Flag Day. For 124 years, since 1901, that flag has been flying, and yet on this special day, it was actually denied by the Greens, who stood up and said it should not be worn. It is not a prop. The Australian national flag is the enduring symbol of our nation, representing our history, values and unity, never a prop. And of course, it calls on the Senate to affirm the right of Australian senators to proudly wear the Australian flag in the Senate chamber.
Let's find out which way the Senate goes on all of this. Again, I don't want to see it all day, every day, but on appropriate occasions, why not? Why not? Drape yourself in the symbol that is the past, present and future of our country. Or is it everyone else's culture that matters, and Australian culture, of course, means nothing? Let's just pretend it's a blip on the radar. Nonsense.